You wake up, head pounding, throat feels like sandpaper. You stumble to the bathroom cabinet, grab some Advil, maybe a Sudafed, and by lunch, you're basically human again. Now take all of that away. No pharmacy, no urgent care clinic down the street, no WebMD to tell you your headache is either stress or, according to the internet, a very specific type of brain tumor. Just you, the wilderness, and whatever your great-great-great-grandmother figured out about staying alive. And here's the wild part. They figured out a lot. For hundreds of thousands of years, before antibiotics, before germ theory, before anyone even knew what a cell was, humans didn't just survive. They thrived. They built civilizations. They raised families. They grew old. So how exactly did that happen? Let's get into it. First, we need to reset something in our brains, because most people imagine ancient humans as basically us, just worse. Like they were wandering around thinking, man, I really could use some penicillin right now. That's not it at all. These people were sharp, incredibly observant, and they had something we seriously underestimate. Thousands of years of trial and error passed down from person to person, generation to generation, grandmother to granddaughter, healer to apprentice. No textbooks, just memory, tradition, and a very strong motivation not to die. That knowledge, it added up to something remarkable. Plants. Let's start there. And I want to be clear, this isn't crystals and essential oils territory. This is real pharmacology with a prehistory that stretches back at least 60,000 years. We have the proof. In 1960, archaeologists discovered a Neanderthal burial site in a cave in Iraq. Inside the grave, massive concentrations of pollen from multiple plant species. Yarrow, ephedra, groundsel. The interpretation? These weren't random weeds. They were deliberately placed. And several of those exact plants are still used in herbal medicine today. Neanderthals, doing herbal medicine, before modern humans even arrived in that region. Let that land for a second. And it only got more sophisticated from there. Willow bark, which contains the same compound aspirin is built on, was used in ancient Egypt, ancient China, ancient Greece, and by indigenous tribes in North America, completely independently. Because people on opposite sides of the planet all noticed the same thing. Chew this bark, pain goes down. Thousands of years of human beings running the same accidental experiment and arriving at the same answer. Garlic, used as an antibiotic by ancient Egyptians, and modern studies confirm it actually has antimicrobial properties. Turmeric, documented anti-inflammatory effects. Echinacea, long used by Native American communities for immune support, and still sitting on pharmacy shelves today. These weren't lucky guesses. They were the result of millions of careful observations made by people whose lives literally depended on getting it right. Now let's talk wounds. Because out there, hunting, farming, fighting, or just tripping over something in the dark, wounds were constant. And without antiseptics, a bad cut could kill you in days. So what did they do? Honey. Ancient Egyptians packed wounds with it, and honestly, they were onto something real. Honey is naturally antibacterial. Low pH, high sugar content, releases small amounts of hydrogen peroxide. Modern medicine has actually brought it back. There's a clinically approved honey product used in wound care today. The Egyptians weren't wrong. Then there's clay. Certain mineral-rich clays have genuine antimicrobial properties. Indigenous cultures across the globe applied clay poultices to injuries, and again, not wrong. And then, maggots. Okay, stay with me. Maggot therapy, applying fly larvae to infected wounds to clean out dead tissue, was used by indigenous Australians, by the Maya, by military surgeons throughout history. And it is still used today in modern hospitals for wounds that don't respond to antibiotics. Maggots only eat dead tissue. They leave healthy tissue completely alone. They're remarkable little wound cleaning machines. Ancient people didn't discover this because they were strange. They discovered it because they watched. They noticed wounds with maggots sometimes healed better. And instead of being disgusted and moving on, they paid attention. That's the whole story, honestly. They paid attention. Here's where it gets jaw-dropping. We have archaeological evidence of ancient humans drilling holes in each other's skulls, a procedure called trepanation, dating back over 9,000 years. And before you freak out, patients survived. We know because the bone shows signs of healing around the hole. Some skulls show multiple sites, meaning the same person had the procedure done more than once and walked away. 9,000 years ago. Brain surgery, stone tools, surviving patients. We also have evidence of amputations with clean bone regrowth, meaning not just the surgery happened, but real post-op care followed. Wound management, nutrition, recovery support. That's not luck. That's a functioning medical system. But here's something that doesn't get nearly enough credit. Ancient humans also survived because of what was inside them. An immune system built by millions of years of evolutionary pressure into something genuinely formidable. The more pathogens a population faces across generations, the more the survivors pass on their resistance. It's brutal. It's slow, but it works. And their gut microbiome? Probably spectacular compared to ours. They ate wildly diverse diets, wild plants, fermented foods, animal products. They were constantly exposed to soil and the microorganisms in it. Every traditional culture had its version of fermented food: kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, injera, and every version was essentially a probiotic supplement loaded with beneficial bacteria. Modern research comparing hunter-gatherer gut microbiomes to industrialized populations finds something striking. Hunter-gatherers have dramatically higher microbial diversity, and higher microbial diversity is consistently linked to better immune function, lower rates of autoimmune disease, and better metabolic health. Ancient humans weren't clean. They were covered in dirt and bacteria constantly. And in some very specific immunological ways, that was actually good for them. One more thing that sounds unscientific, but absolutely isn't: the placebo effect. When you believe you're being helped, your body actually responds differently. Pain perception shifts, immune activity changes, recovery improves. This is documented neuroscience, not mysticism. Ancient healers understood this intuitively. The ritual surrounding treatment mattered. The healer's confidence mattered. The community showing up mattered. When a medicine person performed a ceremony over someone sick, chanting, plants, fire, the whole village present, something real was happening inside that patient's body. Their brain was receiving a powerful signal. You are being cared for. People are fighting for you. Cortisol drops. Immune function shifts. Recovery improves. That's not nothing. That's biology. Now, fairness. There were absolutely things ancient medicine couldn't touch. A ruptured appendix? Fatal. Complications in childbirth? Often deadly. Dental infections that spread? Lethal. Infant mortality was brutal. In many populations, up to half of children never made it to adulthood. Life expectancy numbers from ancient times look rough, averaging around 30 years. But that number is massively skewed by childhood deaths. If you survived to adulthood and avoided violence, living into your 50s, 60s, even 70s was entirely possible. We have the skeletal evidence. And some of the diseases that devastated ancient populations, still killing people today in places without access to modern medicine. Malaria, tuberculosis, cholera. These aren't ancient problems. They're current ones for hundreds of millions of people. Modern medicine is not a luxury. It is one of the most extraordinary achievements in all of human history. The fact that an infection that would have killed someone in 1850 is now handled by a 5-day prescription is remarkable, and we've completely stopped being amazed by it. Ancient humans survived because they were never truly without medicine. They had plants with real active compounds, wound care techniques that worked, immune systems hardened by generations of exposure, fermented foods maintaining gut health, healers who understood the power of belief and community, and accumulated knowledge passed down over thousands of years by people who paid very, very close attention to the world around them. They didn't have what we have, but they built the foundation everything we have is standing on, and that is genuinely worth being amazed by.